Every grandmother carries a lifetime inside her. The triumphs nobody witnessed, the heartbreaks she outlasted, the wisdom she never got to pass on until now. Welcome to Grands Speak. Each week, Rhonda and Cherri sit down with another grandmother to dig into her life, the love, the lessons, the laughter, and everything in between, because the best stories come from the women who've truly lived them. This is Grands Speak. Welcome in. The conversation starts now.
Hey, lady.
Hi.
So this is episode 3.
Yeah, we're back.
We're back.
Yep.
I figured out how to edit.
You did? I was thinking.
I figured out how to share.
Yeah.
We have a YouTube channel.
Yep.
It is private, so not yet, but soon. And we'll be putting it down there for parties and bar mitzvahs.
Really?
Oh, God. Yeah, that might not be
Right.
the kind of excitement you're looking for. Anyway, we both are like bemoaning our muffin tops.
Yeah.
But you know, we're grandmas.
I think it may be more of a punt cake.
A bunt cake.
That's all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that was a little overfilled.
Yeah.
like my clothes are a little overfilled.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're grandmas. Grandmas are supposed to be soft.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if I told you this, but when my grandmother, who I called Mimi, when I was a little girl, Mimi had bodacious hips. I mean, she would have been all the rage in these days, with all the songs out about that bass. She had plenty of bass. And I always thought she was chubby.
Uh-huh.
But now I look at pictures and I'm like, no, she was curvy. She wasn't chubby, but when we would watch her little programs, so she watched soap operas.
Oh, yeah.
But she watched game shows because my Mimi was so smart. Oh. She did the New York Times puzzle start to finish every day. Yeah. And she was a master at all those game shows. And so when I'd take a nap, she'd lay on her side and she'd say, you can come lay right here. And I'd just lay on those curvy hips. And they were so soft and comfortable. So I always thought, I want to be a chubby grandmother. I don't got no bass.
No,
I'm not all about that bass.
Yeah, no.
I'm not. No. I do have plenty of treble, but not a lot of bass. But I'm built more like my mama than my Mimi. But, or maybe my daddy. My daddy used to say he suffered from no acetol.
I got a husband like that. No acetol.
So I do have the more behind, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So this is Grandma and I'm Sweet Mama. And this is episode 3.
Yep.
And you told me you had more stories about Hawaii. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's been, let me just tell you, we've gone through Christmas. I went to Germany. I was gone for over 2 weeks. Came back, Christmas. Then you and Ken, your husband Ken, got sick.
Yeah.
He had COVID.
Yeah, he had COVID. I didn't have COVID. I had the crud.
You just had the crud.
Yeah, just the crud.
Thank God you didn't get COVID. But he's much, much better now, and you're all better now. Yeah. But we had to wait until you didn't cough and cough and cough.
Right, yeah, so
right,
I could get through one of these without.
So here we are.
Yeah, hopefully I'll make it all the way.
Yeah.
Won't take any deep breaths.
And we're in a new setting because we felt like that setting was a little distracting.
Yeah.
And really meant to close those doors. We're in our clubhouse in our community. And there ain't nobody here but us. Yeah. So if somebody comes in, they're going to be very confused. But it's okay. It's okay. I don't think anybody will.
I don't think so.
It's Monday afternoon. Yeah. They all taking naps.
It is not an over 50, 55 and over community.
However,
yes.
Until recently, it was almost all 55 and older. Yeah. But now it's
the first
evened
two,
out.
The first 2 phases, if you will.
Yeah.
The carriage homes and the Highland homes.
Yes.
Are the older folk.
The older folk.
The older
We
folk.
ain't old.
No, but the Cedars Edge and now the new townhomes, those are a lot of young folks with young kids.
Yeah.
So I'm told. I didn't see any of them at Halloween now.
So old and my age
Yeah,
are a constant on a scale.
yeah.
As my age moves up,
Old is not nearly
just-
as yeah. Old moves up right
It
along
just
with
keeps
it.
moving
Yeah,
up.
that's a good description. That's a good description. Yeah, yeah.
all right. So let's
Okay,
get
so
to
let's
it.
get
Let's
caught up on-
share me some
I
stuff.
if you're just coming into this episode, back in the days when I was a school teacher and I wanted to teach my way around the world, so I went to Hawaii and had some wonderful adventures there and met the love of my life, and we got married and lived there for a couple years. So I went to Hawaii and happened to meet a VISTA volunteer who was assigned to the Hawaii Curriculum Center at the university. They were developing a language program for Hawaii's children because the picture books with snow and sledding, you know, the Hawaii kids have a little problem identifying with those and learning the word sled and snow. And so, and they're very active learners, so they developed a very nice program. But, so I met him, and he worked in my classroom actually 2 hours every morning, evaluating how not evaluating so much as observing how the children interacted with the materials, because they wanted to develop the best materials they could.
So I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So Ken's an observer. Was he an active observer? Like, did he get involved sometimes with the kids? No, he was
a really
quiet
good observer.
and
Yeah.
just
He was
watched.
very quiet, yep, and he just watched. And apparently the children were not the only things he was watching, which is how we ended up married. But so I wanted to share a couple of other things that we got involved in. I was only ever just in the background because I was a beginning teacher and I had my hands full just adjusting the rest of my curriculum to go a little bit with what the language arts curriculum and materials were. So I had my hands full, and there was also, in addition to the VISTA program, there was a wonderful group of teacher corps people, and there were about 20 of them. Now, teacher corps in those days, teacher corps in those days, and I think we still have teacher corps, was a program, a federal program, available for poverty areas, and they would pay the people. They were master's degrees in a master's program at UNH, not at UNH, listen to me, I think I'm in New Hampshire already, at the University of Hawaii. And so the program was there, and so they were going to classes in the evening and working in the schools during the day.
Okay.
And it was a combination of people from the mainland and local people from the islands.
And so that program really helped not only them to gain a lot of experience, but also to go through the program quicker.
Exactly.
They could get credentialed quicker and things like that.
There was no cost to them to take the classes.
Oh.
So they basically, and they had a stipend. Yeah, because I know they had to find their own housing and set that all up. And
now you were not in Job Corps.
I wasn't in.
But Ken was
Right.
involved with Job Corps.
Right.
Which is
well, he was with VISTA. These were the teacher corps people.
Oh, okay.
And VISTA then
teacher
was
corps, sorry, my bad.
I'm trying to think what they call VISTA now. We still have it.
It's not the Peace Corps, is it?
No. It was it was equivalent to the Peace Corps, but it was a 1-year commitment instead of the 2 years of the Peace Corps.
Okay.
And it was at home.
Okay, it was in the States.
Abroad, yes.
I gotcha.
Actually, I think they call it AmeriCorps now.
Maybe they do.
I think so.
Maybe they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he had some other assignments in the that were given to him by the people who were running the Vista program in the islands. He was the only one, as far as I know, he was the only one on the whole island of Oahu. There were two of them, but the second one missed his girlfriend too much.
Oh, no.
So he went home after about 2 or 3 weeks. So
Really?
Ken was on
Wow.
his
So
own.
Ken was
Yeah,
there on
yeah.
his own.
So he
And he wasn't missing nothing.
no, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. And he connected with the teacher corps people.
Okay.
And there were, I think, 6. There were 4 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and 2 high schools on the coast. So they divided up the 20 people among those schools.
Okay.
And so I think there were either 4 or 6 of them.
And you were teaching what grade?
I was teaching a kindergarten, first grade combination.
Okay.
So I wasn't really involved with them. They tended to work with the older,
Right.
5th and 6th graders,
Sure.
and then with the middle school kids, and then with the high school kids.
Right.
So, but we all became friends because at least half of the teacher corps people were all new and to the community and new to the culture, and we'd have get-togethers, socials, and there were several marriages that came out of the teacher corps.
Well, there you
At
go.
the end of the year. Yeah, those
Sure, I
things
mean, that's
happen. Yeah,
You get
yeah,
the
we were
age
all the
group.
right age.
Yeah, we're
Yep.
the perfect age,
Yep,
and that's
and,
what happens.
So there was
Things happen.
one of our teacher corps people, a gentleman by the name of Ed McGrath, was a wonderful, creative person about coming up with programs
Mm-hmm.
and doing things for the community and what
Right.
have you.
Right.
And he spent a lot of time with Ken, actually. He and Ken became good friends, and going out in the community and meeting the people who were really running the town, if
Okay.
you will.
Yeah. The town of
Makaha. We were in
Makaha.
Makaha.
Makaha,
Yeah.
and that's in
In
Oahu.
on the island of Oahu,
Okay.
on what's called the Waianae Coast. It's the western side of the island.
Okay.
And also known as the western parts of the islands are drier because the storms come from the other
The
direction.
east.
Yeah, they come
Mhm.
from the Orient. I don't know. Anyway,
It don't
doesn't
come from
matter.
that. It's
It
the
doesn't
dry
matter.
side.
Yeah, that's all.
We
That's
don't.
all
We're
need
not
to know.
meteorologists.
Yeah.
Ooh, can't say
And,
that word.
So Ed came up with the idea. Now the teacher corps people had training they'd taken in the States somewhere. I'm thinking maybe California, where maybe a few hundred teacher corps people came together
Right.
for training
Okay.
in regards to going into a community that was different than what you were raised in and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd met a gentleman whose first name was Craig. I can't remember his last name. Craig Thompson.
Okay.
And
I hope Craig
Craig-
Thompson doesn't mind being referenced on our.
yeah, I don't think he will. Because
Oh
he got assigned to the Navajo reservation in Arizona.
wow.
And the two of them were writing letters back and forth, and I don't know
That's
whose idea it was, but I would think Ed probably. They came up with the idea because now in Arizona, on the Navajo reservation, the youngsters are in boarding school.
Oh, okay.
So it was, whereas our kids were all in their homes.
Sure.
And so it was another difference in the,
Yeah.
so
Program.
the two of them came up with the idea of doing a cultural exchange where they take they decided on 5th graders and a group of 5th graders there, and they would come to each other's areas and do a little performance and go to class. So they'd have the difference in the
Oh
cultures.
my gosh, that's
Doesn't that
so
sound cool?
awesome.
And
wow.
it was. And I never had, I was just one of those people, if somebody said, move that chair, I would move that chair. I mean, that was,
You were
I was,
very
yeah,
young
I was
in your
just,
career.
and I was just being helpful in the background, whatever. So to do this thing, first they had to write up a proposal.
Sure.
And they each had to take it to the powers that be. And Craig had to work his through the federal government.
Oh, because of
yeah,
Native
he had to
American.
work it through the native group and
Yes.
then through the feds.
Wow.
Ed had to work it through the state government,
Okay.
the local government, but then the state government and then the feds. So they had quite a time.
So
It
that
took
is
them,
interesting.
Yeah.
How long did it take?
I'm thinking it took about 6 months. Of
I'm
their 2
surprised
years.
they did it that quickly.
Me
Was
too.
there a lot of distrust in
Um,
the communities?
Well, the interesting thing is, remember I told you how much the Hawaiians love their kids?
Yes.
Because it was for the kids, they
Oh,
bought in
they
right
were-
away.
they
They
were in.
loved now some of these parents, a lot of these kids hadn't even been into Honolulu.
Sure.
Because we were 45 miles away.
Right.
So anything that would be for their kids, that was a positive educational thing, they were all
They
for.
were for
Yes,
it.
yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
And what about on the other side? The
I'm
Navajo
not sure
families?
about that.
Okay.
I'm not sure about that.
Because I can
Because I
see
didn't hear that.
that there
side
would
of
be, but that would then depend on their ambassador,
Right.
which
yes.
was Ken's
yeah,
friend.
Yeah, Ed and Ken were the ones
Yeah.
that did the community outreach. And then they reached out to the state government, and
So
that's
the
when they.
communities must have really respected these two.
Yes, yeah, they really did. They were very happy to have Teacher Corps there, and that Vista guy. What's he doing now? I don't know. He drives around in that little gray Ford Fairlane. It just says something about the government on the side of it.
Oh, okay.
What it says is for government use only.
Uh,
I won't talk about the uses we had that had
no.
nothing to do with the government.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
not.
And so they both just did so well with the local community people. And then they got to the legislature. They had to go to the legislature before they could even go to the governor. Because what they were looking for was not just permission to do it, but some money. We
Yes.
need some money to do this with.
Okay.
And
were they
so,
looking for state dollars and federal dollars, or were they looking for
no,
a
state,
grant?
they were looking for state dollars.
State dollars.
And so if I remember correctly, I think the state, offered to put in they had figured out, they already had a budget. They'd worked out a budget, what it was gonna cost to take these kids over there. And, so I believe it was like about $20,000.
Okay, which was a lot
Of
of
money in those
'Cause
days.
what
Yeah, I
year
don't
was
even know.
that,
It was 1969.
Oh my
When
God,
they
that's
started
a
out,
fortune.
69, 70, yep. And so I believe the government, the legislature said, okay, we can find $8,000.
Okay.
If you can match it, we'll throw in the rest. If
Oh.
you need more.
All right.
And so we.
That's a lot of bake sales.
But, well, that's it. The other caveat was, this is a poverty community.
Sure, of
You
course.
cannot raise money in the
In the
community.
community.
So
And was that true in the Navajo community as well?
I think he got all his money from the feds.
From the feds.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 60s.
yeah.
All right. You know,
So,
that was
Yeah,
it was a time.
yep. So
Oh, it was a time.
they
Okay.
did things like, because the community wanted to be involved.
Sure.
So they did things like, I had two roommates who were both fifth grade teachers, and one of them had some music background, and she said, you know what, because she was using some music in her classroom with her kids,
Mm-hmm.
and she said, why don't we take some youngsters, I'll form a little choir,
Oh my God.
we'll take some of the music. Now the fifth graders had, in fourth grade, all had their Hawaiian year. So they'd had their Hawaii history. They knew all their Hawaii. They
Okay.
knew Hawaii songs. They knew
Okay.
Hawaii recipes. They knew
Which
their
is
Hawaiian,
perfect.
which was perfect.
That's
yes,
perfect.
yeah. And so they put together a little program that then they took into. Oh, and also this program was only Makaha's kids. It wasn't, as I recall. Ooh, I ought to check that.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Let
But
somebody else fact check it. They'll write us. We'll,
yeah, that's true.
it's
They
no big,
will.
somebody
They
will
will.
know
Yep.
something somewhere.
So they would go into Honolulu. We would.
Mhm.
That's one of the things I did was I drove a car full of kids into Honolulu to the local mall. We had a big mall there, and in the middle of the mall, the guys had gotten permission for the kids to do a
So they
fundraising.
performed.
They would perform
And then
pass.
they're practicing.
Yeah, and
and
they're
getting ready.
practicing, and they're passing the hat among the tourists.
Oh, what a great
So we're
idea.
getting the tourists. Wasn't that a great idea?
That was
Yep,
so
yep.
clever.
And
So that didn't take long then to raise that money. It seems
well,
like
interestingly enough, it took a while, but it was done by the end of that first year, which was the 69-70 school year.
okay.
Because then it took place in 71.
Okay.
And it was in 71
And
that
they
they
did
went.
it.
They did it. We
Wow.
also went. Somebody, when they were doing one of those shows, and we did one like every week. It was like every Thursday or something.
Sure.
We'd take the kids
And you
in,
would drive all the way.
So we'd take them in and
How far was
and
that?
then feed
Like
45 miles, and then we'd have to
Okay.
bring them back.
Sure.
So 90 miles round trip, but and we'd feed them while we were in there.
Oh, you would.
And
I was wondering
yeah,
if they
oh,
brought
yeah,
their
you had
food.
to feed them.
Well,
No,
yeah, I
no.
didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were at the mall, so they had a food court.
Yeah.
So the kids, like I said, some
Did
of
they
those
have
kids.
food courts in the malls back
Yeah,
then?
they did. They did.
Wow, that
yeah,
must have been
yeah,
a big mall too.
Yeah, it was.
Because
it was the only.
I don't think
only
all the
thing.
malls had
Yeah,
food.
no, it was
Like,
the only mall.
I don't
in the-
remember
yeah,
a food court
yeah.
in
Oh,
the 70s in our big mall.
Right, exactly.
know,
yeah,
It wasn't for a
So,
while, but anyway, carry on.
yeah. Somebody from Waikiki, I don't know if it was a club owner or what, saw the kids performing, and they said, and I don't know if they brought Don Ho down to see the kids or not,
Oh my
but
gosh.
he was the big performer at the time
Sure.
on
Yeah.
Waikiki.
For a long
And
time.
yeah, and so they said, have him tell the story and then pass the calabash bowl. They don't pass the hat, they pass the calabash
And
bowl,
what's a
which is a
calabash bowl?
monkey pod. Beautiful big monkey pod bowl.
What's a
They
monkey
just-
pod?
Monkey
You
pod is
completely lost me.
sorry.
I'm like,
Monkey pod's a tree, don't you know?
no, I didn't know.
Yeah, monkey pod's a kind of tree,
Oh.
and
So
the
is it
wood
a wood?
is if you ever see any wood bowls or figurines or things that have
Okay.
been made in Hawaii, chances are
Monkey
it's
pod.
monkey pod wood.
So
It's-
that
it
is
really
a tree
very-
indigenous
yes,
to the Hawaiian Islands.
Yeah,
And how big? Wait, I just got to do a side thing
yeah.
because I love trees and I love.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
love,
they get huge. They get huge.
big.
Yeah,
Big,
the
big.
biggest one in the world burned in the Lahaina fire. It was the oldest known, and it was the biggest. It didn't burn all the way down though, and they're thinking it's going to come
It's
back.
gonna come
so
back
they're
or
treating it and
damage and
taking
stuff.
care of it. Yeah.
All right. So was this a hardwood or a softwood? Do you know?
Yeah, it's a softwood because
It is a softwood.
they can really mold it and do
Okay.
stuff with it.
Okay, cool.
So
they
but
make
anyway, so they
beautiful
have this
things.
beautiful bowl, and they
Okay.
would pass it, and of course the tourists, and Don Ho is goading them on, and come on, we got to fill this bowl up. These kids need
Oh,
to go
yeah.
to the mainland.
Oh.
They'll never get to see the mainland if we don't send them.
Oh, I love that.
And
he
so
was
it
right.
did. Yeah, he was right.
He was
So
right.
we even got one of the TV guys saw it and said, "Oh, we should do a television
A
fundraiser."
telethon
Yeah, we did a
kinda thing?
telethon. We had just an
Oh, well, I
hour
got it. Y'all
before the
raised
news.
that money.
I know, we did. But not we. I was there answering telephones.
Yeah, right.
Although,
And moving chairs.
yes, that was it. Yeah, driving cars,
Driving
kids, yeah,
cars and feeding kids.
and so they managed to raise the money, and then they had to pick which kids were going to go.
Oh, right.
And they had to come up with chaperones because you had to have one chaperone for 2 kids. And some kids, because they were a little active and would act out, had to have just one chaperone.
Okay.
So Ken got to go as the chaperone for one of
So
those
how many
kids.
kids got to go to this
There were
thing?
20. There were
20.
20.
And
yeah.
how out of the class, the 5th grade class,
Yeah.
how many, what percentage or? Was that half?
Well, I
or-
think there were somewhere between 800 and 1,000 kids in the school. So
Oh, wow,
that
wow,
would
wow.
be because they also had, well, that would be from kindergarten through sixth grade.
Sixth grade, right?
So, yeah. So a couple hundred, I guess, at each. So maybe it was
So
like
that
10%.
was a big deal to
Yes.
be chosen.
Yes, it was.
What did they
Yes,
have
it
to
was.
write something? What did they
You
have
know,
to
I don't
do?
remember. I don't remember those kind of how the kids were picked.
Because I
I
can
think they
imagine
were-
that was a
yeah,
big
yeah.
deal.
But I know it wasn't, even though it was a poverty area, there were some families who were not on poverty programs and lived in the area. So it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't related to that. It was related to the children and where they thought it could do the most good.
Okay.
And so then the following year, I want to say it was February.
Mhm.
So now those fifth graders were sixth graders. No, they weren't. I think we must have started with fourth grade kids because they were in their Hawaiian program,
Mhm.
and then they graduated. So then they were fifth graders when
Mhm.
they actually went on the trip.
Sure, sure.
And
Okay, that
the
makes
parents
sense.
were just, I mean, they were so involved. They were making kids matching shirts,
Oh,
and it was just, yeah, it was really fun.
And
So,
how long was the trip? So you had kids coming
yeah,
that you had to also take
Yeah.
care of.
yeah.
You had kids
Well,
going.
I thought they were going to come at the same time, but they didn't,
It wasn't
which
the
was
same
perfect.
time. Okay,
So,
that's what I envisioned.
yeah, that's
but
what I thought it was going to
yeah.
be at the time,
Okay.
but then I found out
They
no,
came
no,
at
no.
different times.
They came at different times, and our Hawaiian kids went first over there. And Ed and Craig, between them, had raised the airfare. I want to say Continental Airlines, maybe,
Okay. Mhm.
was one of the newer airlines, and
Okay,
they
yes.
picked it up.
Mhm.
And so they had the airfare paid for.
Oh, nice.
And then somebody on the mainland, I don't know, probably Ed approached somebody from Disneyland because he was from LA,
Okay.
and they got on board. So one day of the trip, they broke the trips up and had a day at Disneyland.
Nice.
Isn't that incredible?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
For those kids,
It's
are
like
you
people
kidding
couldn't
me?
do enough, you know?
Oh, that is so cool.
And when the kids went to the Indian reservation, now they had been researching, and once the children were picked, they started doing pen pal kinds of things, so
Sure.
that, you know, ahead of time. And so they,
Do you know the name of that? Like, what city was that in?
okay, yeah, I do.
I know there were.
It'll come to me. Yeah,
Was
it's
it
right on the
Tucson?
reservation. Oh, no, it wasn't in a city. They were out on the reservation.
Right. But Tucson's really close to a Navajo
Yeah.
reservation. My grandparents lived in Tucson as well.
Okay.
I know. But you're not sure. It'll come to you.
Yeah.
Your little man's running through the files. He'll
Yeah, he
find
is.
it.
He'll come up with it.
He'll come up with it. He'll run it
So,
back.
but for these kids, they'd never even seen a boarding school or knew anything about it.
Right,
So,
of course.
you know, they had to.
Oh,
I
that's
don't know,
right, because they weren't going to
Exactly.
homes, they were going to a boarding school.
Yes.
which actually kind of makes that a lot easier.
And I would think it would have
Because
been on
it's
their
just,
end. Yeah.
they're
Yep.
prepared
Yep.
to take care of kids.
And don't you know? And of course, they bus them from LA to Arizona,
Oh, okay.
and because they landed in LA to do their Disneyland
And that's quite
thing.
that's
and
not a
then
short
bus,
trip.
yeah. And I don't remember
Oh,
hearing
bus.
that that the bus
Oh,
trip
Lordy.
was. But again, for these kids, I mean, it was
Oh,
just
yeah,
like,
I'm
yeah.
sure they were good.
Yeah.
Good kids.
And so they, it snowed the day they were supposed to come home. And they got
it
snowed
snowed where?
on the Indian reservation.
No way. Oh,
Yeah.
so that's not Tucson. I
No,
guarantee.
they were up.
They were up
I think
at
they were
the
close. Yeah,
foot
they
of
were
the
up in the
mountains.
mountains. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's not Tucson.
Yeah, I want to say Red Rock, but I think I'm wrong about that.
Okay, it doesn't.
But
Somebody
anyway,
will find it.
yeah,
They'll tell
yeah.
us.
Now, one of the other things when they were picking
You
chaperones,
see how I'm leaning on our people already? I'm like, they're gonna tell us. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't be knowing.
the local people in Hawaii,
Yeah.
there are you know, people who were informal heads of different groups. And in Makaha, there was a person who they said she has to go with them, one of their elders.
Uh-huh.
She has to go with them. Okay,
Right.
you know, one more, not a
Okay.
problem.
Sure.
And so off she goes, this probably 80-year-old lady.
Okay.
And so they just had the most wonderful trip. And then they came back. And I'm sure there was probably all kinds of evaluating kinds of things they did when the kids got back.
So now the kids know what snow is.
Yeah, they know what snow is, and they know the kids who are coming.
Oh,
And so
right,
they go
because
home and
spend
they
some
tell
time
their
with them.
parents about, I met so-and-so and so-and-so and all this background and stuff. And I think it was about 6 or 8 weeks later that the Navajo children came.
Okay.
And when that plane, I did get to drive in, and when that plane landed and those Navajo children got off the plane, of course in Hawaii, the leis, receiving a lei.
Yeah, yeah.
First of all, it was almost like we were looking at the Hawaiian kids when they came back, because the Hawaiians, there's definitely genetic connections
Sure.
between the Navajos
Okay, I
and
can
the
definitely
Hawaiians.
see that, yeah.
And so they get off the plane,
Although
and everybody's
very
giving them
different
leis. Yeah,
culturally.
well, yes, culturally, our kids are like, every child has ADD.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. 1,000 ADHD kids. Just kind of try to imagine it in your mind. But the Navajo children are very reserved and very quiet.
Oh.
And they
That's
were just,
kind of sad
I
because
can
of the
ju-
history,
yeah,
right? I
yeah,
mean, when
yes.
you know what was done,
right.
right, you get
And,
that.
and when the kids came off, and all the families had leis for them. So these kids would have 20 leis on, you know. And all you could see with their big eyes and their black hair and their leis up the air, you know.
And were they real leis, like made out
Oh
of
yeah,
real
oh yeah,
flowers?
oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh
The families
my
had
gosh!
made them.
Can you imagine? Because they're from
Yes.
the mountains and it's desert.
Exactly,
It's not,
I know.
It's not
Even,
like Hawaii.
you know, yeah, it's wonderful. Nobody had a asthma attack or something. You know, what is this smell?
What
You
is
know,
going
yeah.
on?
And so each child had a family, and the family was there and picked them up and took them home with them.
Wow.
And so the first event that they had for the children was a hukilau. Now, I had been living in Hawaii for over a year
All right,
at
now
that point.
start over. The
know.
first, say that again.
The first activity they had for the children was a hukilau.
Okay,
and a hoki-
Hokilau. And how do you
Hokilau.
spell that? Spell that for us.
Hookieleu, I
Okay,
guess.
okay.
But it's,
Okay.
they have these huge nets, and they all go down to the beach, and you throw your net out into the sea, and you bring it in full of fish.
Okay.
Then you collect the fish and you cook them up. You clean them and you cook
Okay.
them up.
It's a barbecue.
And you have, yeah, it's a barbecue.
I'm from
with,
Texas.
Yeah,
It's a
barbecue. Yeah, yep, it's a Hawaiian barbecue. And so the kids they had the hukilau, and they got to experience the throwing the nets out and bringing them in. And
Oh,
some of our
what?
kids,
The ocean.
yeah, just
These
to
kids
see the
are
ocean.
from Arizona.
I know,
The ocean.
I know, yeah.
Wow.
Just to be able to experience that. And they that was a great party, but it was an opportunity for the families to meet the chaperones and all the children, because
Sure.
everybody had a kid at their house, but what about all the rest of those kids?
Right.
And I mean, they just adopted them. They just took them right into their hearts.
Yeah.
And that was a really wonderful experience. And the two groups, now they had their musical groups, and
Yep.
they did their songs and dances and
Do you
stuff.
remember any of it?
And no, I
Did
don't.
any
I
of it,
don't.
like,
Yeah,
stick
no,
with
it
you?
didn't really. But they had signed up. Oh, I forgot that part. They had signed up a reporter from the local paper, and he went with them to the Indian reservation and wrote every day. So they got a story back on the islands
Mhm.
about what was going on with the kids.
Right.
And so he was right there for the hukilau and wrote it up every day.
Mhm.
There was a story. So it got shared really with the whole state,
Mhm.
you know. And so they did the Hokilau, and then they had a couple of other events. And again, they put those kids on the road singing.
Oh,
You know,
that's awesome.
the idea was because the legislature, who had come up with some of the money, wanted to be sure that as much of it got out to the communities
course.
as possible.
They wanted to make
Yeah.
the most of that
Yeah,
cultural
they did. Yeah,
experience.
they did.
Yeah.
So the kids were there for 2 years. 2 years. The kids were there for 2 weeks, and then but by the time we got to the Hokilau, which could have only been, I want to say they came on a Thursday or Friday, the Hokilau was probably Sunday. So the kids had only had a little time at the houses.
Yes.
By the time of the Hokilau, you couldn't tell which were Indian kids and which were Hawaiian kids.
So they were
Because
probably felt a freedom.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
To just
It
be
never
kids.
occurred to them to run and jump and dance and, do those kinds of things.
I mean, they have their ritual
Yes,
and their dancing and their singing and all that, but it's
which is why we had the groups.
sure.
Yeah.
But it's so different.
So different.
And the history's so different,
so
right?
different. But also, remember I said we had an older woman go with our
Yes.
Hawaiian kids. Well, the Indians also said,
The Native Americans.
Native American
Thank
woman,
you.
one of the head of one of their tribes,
Yes.
and she came.
Yes.
And these two women, I remember watching
The
them
two
sit,
that
the two older
Hawaiian
women,
woman
they
and
got
the
to sit,
Navajo woman.
and of course they had tents and stuff,
Sure.
so that the older people were out of the sun, and the kids were running around, doesn't bother them.
Yeah.
And again, it's like maybe we're in April, so
Sure.
it's not hot, but it's very comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And neither one of them spoke English.
Neither
Or
one of
they
them.
might have had a little English,
Yeah.
but the two of them sat there jabbering away.
Oh.
And we later
And they didn't
found
speak
out,
each other's
they didn't
language.
speak each other's language, but they found a way to communicate with each
That
other.
is so cool.
And they, I remember hearing a story from one of the families who could speak both English and whichever Hawaiian dialect or whatever this lady
Right.
was speaking.
Right.
But her saying that the connection between the two was the red earth, because of course the red rocks and all that red.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
They have the same thing in Hawaii.
The actual look of the earth
Yes.
was
is the
similar
red, yes.
in those two regions.
Right. Yes.
And so for those two women, that was a connection for them.
Exactly.
Because of earth.
Right. And they realized that their ancestors were in common, that they had ancestors in
Oh,
common.
that is good. That
Yeah.
gives me all those bumps.
Yeah.
That is
yeah.
so cool.
I know. It was just, that's why I wanted to be sure to share this story, because
Yeah, that's really cool.
and over
so
the-
I have some questions.
yes, sure. Good.
I've got questions. Did y'all do it again? Did it become a tradition, or did
Not to that extent.
Okay.
Because then teacher corps was over at the end of that school year. But the families were in touch
stayed connected
with each other. They stayed connected.
And what about the children?
And the children too. But they did there would be times when an Indian family would let their child
Native
come.
American. I'm going to
and
just
stay-
keep correcting
right,
you. I'm
yeah,
so sorry.
yeah. No, that's okay.
The
It's just,
Navajo family.
yeah, the Navajo family
Okay.
would send their child for the summer
Yes.
to and just
Oh.
wonderful.
Oh my gosh. And
Yeah,
did the
personal
Hawaiian
relationships.
families
Yeah,
send their kids?
Yeah, they would send their kids.
And so
and-
that would be different
Yeah.
though. Now they're not at a boarding school.
Right.
Now they're with
now
a
the family, yeah. And they would do things like one year, and it was several years past, like 7 or 8 years, that I heard that at Christmas, the Navajo children didn't have bikes. And the Hawaiian children, even though they were poor, they had bikes.
Right.
And when the Hawaiians ever found out that those kids, they were just flabbergasted.
Right. They're like,
That's
what do you
not
mean?
right.
Yeah.
We got to get bikes for these kids. So here's the poorest community in the whole state,
Oh my gosh.
and they're saving their money and making arrangements
Oh my
and
goodness.
buying bikes. for the kids for Christmas, for the Navajo.
Oh, I just think about that, and what starts as, and I think that's what I hope that some of our young adult listeners or even our
Yeah,
older teen listeners take from this
yeah,
is a travel the world with whatever your career is going to be, because you don't know how life changing that can be.
exactly.
And second, it takes just an idea, and really helpful if you happen to have somebody else who can take that idea with you and y'all can work together
Yeah,
to bring it to, and it's life changing.
Yeah.
It was life changing for
Both
those
of 'em.
women in their 80s.
Right, yeah.
It was life changing for the parents and the grandparents of those children.
Yep,
And then of course the
the
children.
children. Yeah.
And everyone who saw it was life changing for the legislatures, for
Right,
all of it,
exactly,
right?
Exactly.
I
Yep.
mean, everyone that touched,
Yep.
that was a memory, it was a touchstone, it was
Yep.
something that never goes away.
Yep.
Ever.
Yep. And
So
then,
how old would those children would be what age now?
well,
60s? Yeah.
yeah,
They would have to be in their my age.
Right,
They're
right, yeah.
they're in the age group
Yeah,
with
right,
me.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
my generation.
yeah,
Boomers. They're
Right.
boomers.
yeah.
You're builders,
Yeah,
right?
where were you in 50 and
Yeah.
70?
I was in
70.
high school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So they would
So you were a
they'd
little
be in their
older.
50s.
Yeah,
maybe.
they'd be in their 50s,
Yeah.
yeah.
But well, maybe I was in junior high school. It don't even matter.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're telling their grandkids
Yes.
stories about
About
that
that,
time.
yes, yeah,
And
for sure.
their grandkids are listening. Now the kids didn't listen,
Mhm.
but the grandkids are listening. I mean, it's just it just ripples down through the
It
years,
does, yeah.
and it changes things.
Yep.
And so we often think about the things rippling through the years
Yep.
that change things in a way that really makes us want to cry, or
Yeah,
lay down and just give up.
Yeah.
But these are the kinds of things that can influence
yeah, you have no idea.
nations.
Yeah,
You don't
exactly,
know
yeah,
what that's going
exactly.
to impact.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's so funny because I was driving by, I was thinking about memory,
Mhm.
and you mentioned these women with the red earth,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then both just feeling their connection to the earth personally,
Yeah.
and then sharing that,
Yeah.
it's such a strong way,
Right.
and that their earth looks so similar, right? And I was driving by the Unitarian church in our city, and it had, as they often do, a saying, and
Yeah.
it said, "The earth is your mother; you must take care of her." And when I first moved to, I was actually living in Massachusetts, and my oldest was a first grade. I only had one. He was a first grader, and I went to this program that was put on by a group that my realtor belonged to.
Okay.
And it was in a church, I think it was an Episcopal church, and they sang that song. They sang, "The earth is our mother, we must take care of her. The
Oh, okay.
earth is our mother, we must take care of her. Hey, younga, ho, younga, hey, young. And I was thinking, I remember that. So I can imagine that the songs that these groups taught each other are still, I'll
Yeah.
bet there are Navajos
Right.
singing
yeah.
Hawaiian songs
possibly.
today.
Yep.
Parents singing
I
those,
hope so.
because I
I
sang
hope
those
they share.
lullaby
Yeah.
to my children
Good.
that I
Yeah.
heard one
Yes,
time,
yeah.
right? And I can just picture a Hawaiian mother,
Yeah.
right, who
Yeah.
had that experience, whether it was she got to go or she just saw those kids
Yeah.
and learned those songs
Exactly.
and sharing that with
Yeah.
her children.
Yeah.
I mean, that is really awesome.
Yeah.
What an awesome
was,
experience.
It really was. And out of that grew.
Okay,
it
let's
goes
hear
on.
it. Yeah.
Ken and Ed talked obviously to a lot of the people in the communities
Sure.
and heard all these wonderful stories. And Ed came up with the idea of, because when they looked at Hawaiian and the history of the islands, and he realized there was information in books and stuff about the other islands, Honolulu, Waikiki, the other side of the island,
Yep.
because the Mormons have a college over there on the windward side,
Okay.
and so, but there was no history books about the Waianae Coast, and so he said to Ken, he said, you know what, we need to start gathering these stories from people
Yes.
to get it published.
Yeah.
So the two of them did, and when they started talking to people and saying, we want to put a book together, a history of the Waianae Coast, they were very, very, again, positive. People started digging out their old photos.
That's so cool.
And so they ended up, it didn't come out well, they managed to connect with a gentleman in Honolulu who had a publishing company,
Mhm.
Island Heritage, and then they connected with the same reporter who had done the school, the cultural exchange, and so they started collecting the stories
Mhm.
and writing them up and making copies of the photographs
Mhm.
that people had, and ended up putting together a book
Mhm.
that was published, I'm trying to think, we left in 72, 73. Okay, it must have come out they had a big luau for it, and it came out, I think, it was like in January of 74, because,
Okay.
and the boys, Ken and Ed, dedicated the book to their fathers, and Bob Krause, the writer, did the same to his father.
Mhm.
And so when I heard that they were going to have a luau and a whole week of activities on the
Yes.
Waianae Coast for this book, I saved up during the year, and we gave my father-in-law a ticket to go with Ken for the activities.
Oh, how
So
cool.
the two of them went together. So that was
And
really
how
nice.
old would Ken's father have been at that time?
Yeah,
Because
I'm
Ken was
trying
in
to
his
think.
20s,
Right,
right?
Ken was in his 20s. Well, Homer was born in 25, and this
And
was
this was
at
75-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Peter
50.
only, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, it was really special. And then, interestingly enough, part of the deal with the again, they got some money from the legislature, and part of the deal was that there had to be 100 books for each of the schools on the coast, on the Waianae Coast. And so recently, like within the last couple of years, there's been a group, because now it's all been, 75, now we're 25.
Mhm.
Okay, so
It's
it's
a
been
ways.
another 50 years.
Yeah.
And so somebody locally has gone back and said, we need to update it.
Yeah.
But they're doing it all online,
Yeah, right, of course, of course.
Yeah,
Well, okay, so I love a segue. This
Yeah.
feels like a segue,
yeah,
and I don't know how much more you wanted to share today, but what you and I are doing right here, right now, in the sharing of stories, and we've already talked
Yeah.
about, we're hoping to bring other grands in,
Yeah.
right? And let them share their stories. These are important things, and now we have new mediums and we have new ways.
exactly.
Right,
exactly.
and we can sort of use technology in a very small way with the help of grandchildren
Yeah.
to get these stories
out. Yeah,
and remembered, and they can continue to inform us
Right,
about our
right.
history and who we are
right,
and what's important.
exactly.
I love that.
Yeah,
I
I do
love
too.
that.
And it's interesting because when you do genealogy research, and like when you watch Finding Your Roots on TV,
Yep, yep.
people always say, well, my family never told me that, or I'm
Right.
not sure my family even knew about that.
About it.
And they're just talking like 3 generations, maybe their
Correct,
parents and
correct,
grandparents.
yeah.
And there are so many things that would make a difference if you had known,
Yes,
you know,
because it
what
does
came
change
before
how
Yeah,
you think about things, because it's not just your legacy, right?
exactly.
It's the
Exactly.
legacy of your people,
Right.
right, going
Exactly.
forward.
Yeah,
So, well, thank you,
definitely.
darling.
I thank you
I
for
think
letting
we
me
have
tell those stories
more.
because, yeah, I know my kids know about it, but, you know, oh yeah, that was that cultural exchange thing you guys did. You know, yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Oh, people are
know.
going to be excited.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
promise you. I
yeah.
promise you. No, this is fun. I'm
Yeah,
glad we're
it
doing
is.
this.
Me too. Me
All
too.
right.
Good idea.
This is Grandma and Sweet Mama
Yeah,
signing out.
my voice is gone.
Okay. Well, this is a good time.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
Thank you.
darling. Thank you.
Yeah.